evening, this is BelGeode, and we are back with some more X-Plane 11 in virtual reality. Howdy folks, and we are back here in X-Plane 11.50, and tonight we are taking our first look at the Bell 222 by Cowan Simulations. Now, it is important to note, this particular video is going to be a short one, and I mean short by my standards. What I plan on doing in this video is only showing you the startup tutorial. So we're just going to go through the entire startup process, and as soon as I'm done starting the helicopter, that's it for this video. For the second video, the video that will come after this, we're actually going to take this bird on a tour. And part of the reason why I have done it this way is because there are actually two versions of this helicopter that are now available. There is this version, the UT version, Uniform Tango version, which has the nifty skids, and there is the B version, the Bravo version, which is just released, and that one has wheels. That one may probably be a little bit more familiar to you because if you watched the 80s show Airwolf, that's the helicopter that this is based on. So for tonight, right now, we're going to be taking a look at the UT version. So with that having been done, let's do our quick walk around here. And actually, let me start closing some doors while I'm at it. So we've got a nifty little back door here. We'll close that. Lovely. The sounds on this thing are exquisite. I love it. And you can really tell that Mr. Cowan put a lot into this helicopter. Look at all the textures. Everything is beautiful. We're talking like 8K textures here, folks, and this is really awesome. Of course, I had to modify this one so that it would have the official BelGeode purple. And as you can see, it turned out pretty good. So there we go. All right, let's take a quick look at the inside of the helicopter while we're at it. And look at that. Look at the discoloration on the engine exhaust there. There's actually two engines in this puppy right here. So that's pretty cool how he did it. All right, so this is the interior here. Look at that. Nice, stylish. Beautiful, beautiful. We won't take a look at the back seat today. We'll save that for the next video. But just to kind of give you an idea, this is the kind of luxury that we're going to be flying around in. All right, let's close the back door. And while we're at it, we will hop over to the office and take a look at the co-pilot side here. Pretty cool. You can see we've got an overhead. That's going to come in handy for our startup process here. And let me mind my head as I close the door here. Nice. All right, so we'll take a look at the front of the bird. Make sure our pitot tubes have no obstructions in them. Looks like they're pretty clean, so we're good to go there. And this is going to be my side of the office. So how's about we hop in and get started starting this helicopter? Okay, so now that we have hopped into the office, let's go ahead and close this door. You'll notice we've got our nifty little X-Pad here. We shall not be using the X-Pad for this video. There's just no need for it. We've also got Avatab, and believe it or not, we are not going to be using Avatab for this video as well. However, I do want to call attention to one thing. You'll notice this little clipboard here. This is where we can set our aircraft configuration. So we can change the radio and the GPS. We could rotate the tablet or make it a large tablet. They're talking about the Avatab there. We could remove the doors totally. We could change the GPS to the GTN 750 if you happen to have that particular plug-in. We could even show the co-pilot and the passengers. Let's do that really quick here. So we'll check that off. And lo and behold, look at that. We've got a fancy-looking co-pilot there dressed in all black. I'm guessing you're goth or something. Is that the case? Okay, we'll go with that. And if you look back there, hey girl, nice to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while. Oh wow, we've got like a bunch of passengers back there. That is so cool. All right, we won't be needing the passengers for the startup, so we'll go ahead and get rid of them there. But as you can see, if you wanted to, you could hide just the co-pilot or just the passengers. You can hide the rotor shadows, and you can make it a black instrument panel. Let's click on that there and see what it looks like. That actually looks pretty cool. I might keep that. We're going to keep that. All right, so let's close that up. We'll put the checklist away. Now, to get the actual startup procedure done, we've got options. We could either use the Avatab, because as I've shown you in previous videos, you can go to the aircraft manual and pull up any PDF that is included with this package. And of course, it does include the manual and a separate startup checklist in the package, so you can actually use that. But the real thing that I want to show you is going to be the X Checklist add-on. Some of you are going to be familiar with whom I call, quote-unquote, Bitchin' Betty. Well, Betty is incorporated in this aircraft, and she is going to help us with the startup procedure. So, to activate Betty, we want to go to Plugins, and this is all stuff that's on the top of your menu if you're not in VR. It's the same exact menu, it's only for VR right here. So we'll go Plugin, go X Checklist, and Open Checklist.
Doors. Secured.
And there we go. Betty's already begun. All right, I am going to put our checklist right here. Okay, so what Betty does is she's actually going to talk you through the checklist. You may have seen this before on some of my older explained videos. Betty has been improved. We'll see if her language has been improved, however. I don't know about that. All right, so Betty's already started the checklist by checking off our doors, and she's now asking for the rotor brake to be turned off. Rotor brake, incidentally, is right here, so we're going to turn that off.
Seats and belts.
We're going to go with they're fastened. So we'll just check that. Some of these you have to check manually, and others she will check them for you. So wherever you see the plus sign, Betty will actually do the checklist, and wherever it's just blank,
fastened, adjusted, and secured,
you click it yourself.
Standby attitude switch.
All right, the standby attitude switch is up here, so we're going to push that in.
On. Check standby attitude indicator off, flag retracts momentarily, then switch off.
Okay, so
Battery
what she's
switch.
talking about is this here. This is the standby attitude indicator. Normally it'll have a little red flag that says it is off. It is currently on, so you can see it's right there. So we'll go ahead and turn that back off, and the flag will come back. You'll see a little red flag right there. All right, what were you asking me to do there, Betty? The battery? Okay, yes, I can handle that. We'll turn that on.
On. Instrument lights / emergency light switch.
That is over here, so we'll flip that on.
As required. Master caution light.
Okay, the master caution light is conveniently located right in front of the pilot, so we'll push that to turn it off.
Reset. Cockpit interior lights.
All right, that is one of those as required things, and typically whenever I go flying, I like to have my lights on, so we'll turn that on, and that on. So that's the pilot instrument lights, the engine instrument lights, and the console lights. We could also turn on the pedestal lights, but honestly, I don't really need them because, well, the sun is already shining down on the pedestal, so we're good there. So we will tell Betty that is done.
As required. Flight controls.
Okay.
Check freedom of movement of pedals and cyclic, then center the controls.
We can do this. So cyclic back, cyclic forward, cyclic left, cyclic right. Okay, everything checks out there. Pedals, we'll give it left pedal, left and right. And we'll also pull up the collective a little. That sound that you're hearing is the low RPM warning. The reason why it's coming on is because, of course, our engines are off. So we really don't have any RPMs at all. But everything checks out, so we'll give Betty the okay.
Check. Force trim switch, on collective.
The force trim switch is located in the center of your collective. It's this switch right here, so we'll flip it up.
On. Searchlight switch, on collective.
That's this switch, it's off.
Landing light switch, on collective.
That's this switch, and it's also off.
Throttles.
Now
rotate
the
throttle to idle stop.
Okay, thank you, Betty. I want to talk to you a little bit about the throttles. You will notice there are 2 of them. Now, there's multiple ways that you can interact with these throttles. You could either, if you're in VR, use the touch controller to turn them, and to turn them, you just hold it and twist your arm either left or right to bring the throttle up and down. You can do that individually for each of them. The other way you can do that is, of course, if you're not in VR, you can use the mouse and basically use your scroll wheel to turn the throttles. Or if you're like me and happen to have like a Cytec X52 selected, you can also use the Cytec X52 whatever controls that you have set for the throttles, in which case I actually have my slider, and as you can see, I can rotate
Check.
both at the same time.
Activate idle stop release switch, then open throttles.
Now you may have noticed that you just heard it go click. That's the idle stop. However, it's not going to move beyond that point. So I'm actually moving the slider right now, and it's not doing anything because it's clicked in place. In order to have it move, you're going to want to click on this idle stop, and it's a three-way switch. So you'll click it to the left, you'll click it to the right, and that will allow you to move both throttles, which is exactly what we're going to do right now in order to pull it up the full throttle.
Check.
There we go, full
The
throttle.
idle stop release relay has a 5-second delay. Rotate back to idle stop, activate idle stop release switch, then close throttles.
That is very important what Betty just said. So you have 5 seconds to make the changes that you want to make. Otherwise, the idle stop release is going to lock back into place. So what she's telling us to do is to rotate it back to idle stop, activate the idle stop, and then release the switch in order to close the throttles. So we're going to slowly bring this back down till we hear the click. That's the idle stop. And now that we're here, we can again click on the idle stop.
Check.
And bring it all the way to the bottom.
RPM increase/decrease switch.
Now that little switch is located here, and this is a two-way switch. You can go up or you can go down. She's going to want us to go down, so we'll
Decrease
turn
to
to the
minimum
left.
and hold 5 seconds.
Did I
Fuel
hold it for
quantity
5
gauge.
seconds? I don't know if I did. Hold on, let me try that again. Okay, that's about 5 seconds, right? All right, that works. Okay, fuel quantity gauge, she wants us to check. We don't have that much gas, but we do have plenty for this engine start, so we're fine. Everything looks good there. So we'll go fuel quantity check.
Instruments.
The instruments all appear to be in static position, so that checks out. Check.
Static positions. Altimeter.
Now I happen to know that the barometer is at 29.904 right now, which is exactly where we need to be, so that's already set.
Set. Clocks.
Clocks should already be set. One thing that I will do is just check to make sure I am on local time, which I am. It says the current time is 1440, that's 2:40 p.m. So we're going to go check.
Set and running. Magnetic compass.
Magnetic compass is located over here, and it's looking good, so we're fine there.
Check. Fire extinguisher switches, engine 1 and engine 2.
Those are right
Norm.
here.
Agent release switch.
That's in the center.
Baggage fire light.
Now the baggage fire light is right above those switches that I just showed you. This is it right here. So what we're going to want to do is to press that to make sure that it comes on.
Checked for illumination. Caution panel bright/dim switch.
That switch is located right here. Right now it's set to dim, so we're going to change it to bright. And we're going to tell Betty that's set.
As required. Caution panel test button. Press.
Okay.
Check that all caution panel and warning lights remain illuminated while pressed.
All right, and
Fuel
of
valve
course
switch
we'll
engine
hear the
1.
noise with it, so we're going to press that. Yep, everything lit up like a Christmas tree. This is perfect. So we'll let that go. Okay, what are you asking me for now, Betty? Fuel valve. All right, let me talk a little bit about that before we do everything that she's asking here. So the way this helicopter is set up, for engine 1, we've got the fuel valve here, we've got the fuel primer here. For engine 2, we've got the fuel valve here and the fuel primer here. So the first thing that Betty's asking us to do is to open this cover and hit the fuel valve.
On.
And then turn on the fuel prime.
Switch engine 1. On.
And now we can
Fuel
close the cover.
INTCON switch.
That must be off.
General 1 and 2 switches.
General
Off.
1 and 2.
Fuel valve switch engine 2.
What she's referring to are the generator switches. I don't know why she keeps calling them generals. But there's generator 1 and generator 2, or general 1, general 2, as she calls it. All right, what are you asking for now? Second engine? Okay, so we'll open that up, push
On.
that, and then push
Fuel
the fuel prime.
switch engine 2.
Close that up.
On.
There we go.
Seat belt switch.
That is currently off.
Cabin and bag light switch.
That is also off.
No smoking switch.
Also off.
Off. Co-pilot vent blow switch.
That's this switch here.
Anti-ice switch engine 1.
That's this one.
Off. Co-pilot pitot HTR switch.
The pitot heater switch. That's off.
Number 1 and 2 hydraulic switches.
Now for the hydraulic switches, that's this one and this one. We're actually going to turn those on.
On. Pilot pitot HTR switch.
That's this guy here. It's off.
Anti-ice switch engine 2.
That's that one.
Off. Pilot vent blow switch.
That's this.
Off. Anti-collision light switch.
That's off.
Off. Position light switch.
Also off.
Off. Standby attitude switch.
And
off.
That's off.
Interior lighting.
Interior lighting we already have adjusted the way that we would like. Incidentally, there is a cabin light that you can turn on. If you look in the back there, you'll see it's actually on. However, it's not going to do much in the daytime, so we'll kind of leave it off for right now. All right, interior lighting is good.
As required. Windshield wiper switch.
That's up here.
Off. ECS switch.
ECS switch
off.
is located here.
Pilot instrument lights.
We already have that set, Betty. Didn't we go through that? Why are we being redundant here? Oh, yeah. All right. That is
as
set.
required. Co-pilot instrument lights.
Also as required.
As required. Rotor brake.
Okay. So for the rotor brake, what she's doing is she wants to make sure that the rotor brake will actually stop the rotor, which we can confirm by simply
on.
Pulling it on.
Check that both rotor brake warning lights illuminate on the caution panel.
Those are located
rotor
right
brake.
there. Now we're going to turn the rotor brake back off.
Off. Verify the handle snaps into place and the lights extinguish.
And the lights are gone.
Seatbelt switch.
Okay, now we're going to get to the actual startup. So, first thing we want our seatbelt lights on.
On. No smoking switch.
Turn that on as well.
On. Anti-collision light switch.
That's over here. Anti-collision lights on.
Position light switch.
Right next to anti-collision lights.
On. Rotor blades.
Rotor blades are currently free and clear. Yep, there's one right there, and there's another one on the other side of the helo, so we'll go ahead and check that off.
Clear. Caution, ensure rotor brake is released before starting engine.
It is released.
Check. Start engine 1 switch, press once, ensure start light on.
Okay, now, before we actually do that, let me explain what's going to happen. Remember I told you there are 2 engines, so that means there are 2 start switches. This is the start switch for engine number 1. This is the start switch for engine number 2. You'll notice that both of them are covered. So we're going to open up the cover here, and we're going to press start 1, and we're going to be watching these 3 gauges here as everything spools up. So let's hit the start button and make sure that the start light comes on.
Caution panel illuminates and NG indicates rotation. Caution, do not open the throttle before 11% NG RPM.
It's at 10 right
throttle
now.
Engine 1, slowly rotate the throttle to introduce fuel at 11 to 12% NG RPM.
Okay,
check.
So here's what we're going to do.
Caution, do not exceed 9008 degrees C MGT or 832A degrees C for more than 12 seconds.
I got it, Betty, thank you.
Throttle engine 1 rotate to idle stop. Tilde 70% NG RPM.
Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn this to the idle stop. We'll wait for it to click.
Check. Engine 1, out warning light should extinguish above tilde 60% NG RPM.
Right there, it's gone.
Check. General 1 switch.
General 1 switch. Let's turn on generator 1.
On. Check that DC General 1, caution light extinguished and ammeter indicating a load.
Yep,
Bus 1 interconnect
we've got
switch.
Load. Bus 1 interconnect switch is right here.
On. Engine 1 fuel prime switch.
We can now turn that off.
Off. Utilize the same procedures for starting engine 2, substituting 2 for 1 beginning at start engine 1 above. Engine 2, out warning light should extinguish above tilde 60% NG RPM.
Okay, so once again, we're going to do the same procedure that we did before in order to start engine number 2. So we'll flip the cover here, we'll push the start, we'll wait for the NG to get to about 11, and we will bring our idle, or our throttle I should say, up to the idle stop. There we go, there's the click. We'll wait for everything to come up. We'll go ahead and cover this.
Check. General 2
Engine 2
switch.
light is off. So we'll get our General 2 switch.
On. Check the DC General 2, caution light extinguished and ammeter indicating a load.
Yep,
Bus 2
except we seem
interconnect
to be
switch.
having a problem with our battery relay and battery temperature. I hope that does not come back to haunt me here. It's probably because I did a flight earlier, so I think it's already registering that there's a little bit of a drain on the battery. Not 100% certain, but I really do hope that goes away. Normally, that should not be there, so. All right, what did you ask for, Betty? Bus 2 interconnect, okay.
On. Engine 2 fuel prime switch.
Turn that off.
Off. Hydraulic oil gauges. Temperature and pressure indicating normal.
Okay,
Check.
both of those are fine.
Transmission oil gauge.
That's
Temperature
over
and pressure
here.
indicating normal. Check. Throttles. Activate idle stop release, switch then slowly open both throttles to full. Observe rotor RPM stabilizes at -96% NR.
Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going to bring the power up to flight idle. Remember that I've got it selected to my slider on the Cytec X52, so we'll need to flip left and right and then slowly bring this up. We'll watch for the rotor RPM and the engine RPM to go
Check.
into the green.
Engine 1 and 2 anti-ice switches.
Hang on, Betty. I'll get to that in a second here. I'm just making sure everything is kosher. Okay, the light went away. This is good. And it looks like everything is set to go. So, what were you asking for? The anti-ice? On a warm day like today, we probably don't need them. But for sake of argument, and since it'll shut Betty up, we'll go ahead and activate both engine anti-ice.
As required. Doors.
Doors are secured.
Seat belt switch.
On.
No smoking switch.
Also on.
On. Passenger seat belts.
Huh? What passengers? We don't have passengers, Betty. I don't know what you're talking about. We're just gonna say that's okay.
Fastened. Caution and warning lights extinguished.
Yep, they are all gone. All of them.
Check. Fuel quantity.
We already checked that before, but we still have pretty much the same amount of fuel as the last time that I checked, so we're good. And actually, I'm going to stop it right now because I know that it's going to start getting into our pre-takeoff checklist, which is not what I planned on showing you for this video. So we'll hide Betty. And the last couple of things that we're probably going to want to do, let me call attention to the fact that this thing does have headsets, so we can put that on, and you'll notice that it got a little bit quieter in here. And then, of course, we can also turn on our landing light. So pretty much that's it. That is how you start the Bell 222. Bear in mind, this was a little bit more long-winded than normal because of the fact that Betty has us go through all of the tests and all of the checks and all of that good jazz there. Once you get really good at this thing, you can start it in less than 5 minutes. So that's something for you to look forward to. And that is basically all I wanted to show you for this particular video. So just to remind you, for the next video, we are actually going to take the B model of this helicopter for a little tour somewhere in South America, where I will reveal in the next video. In the meantime, if you have enjoyed this, if you have learned something, please feel free to give me a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. This has been BelGeode. I have been flying in X-Plane 11.50, and the aircraft that I am in is the Cowan Sim Bell 222. This is the UT model. You can purchase both of these either separately or together in one package. I highly, highly recommend these, especially since the UT has gotten an upgrade, and now that the B is added, this is the full package right here. Alrighty, folks, that is all I wanted, so I'll catch you on the next video. Ciao! wonder if I can land on that oil rig directly ahead from the back passenger seat. Well, if you ever wanted to know if I'm a little bit touched, now's your chance to find out. I'm going to do it. I'm going to attempt to land on that oil rig just from being in the back seat here. Bear in mind, I can't see what's going on up front. I can't see what my engines are doing. I really can't tell which way we're going except looking out the side window here. So this should be interesting. I'll trim us up here and lose some airspeed. It's probably also going to be pretty wobbly, but hey, this is definitely not something I recommend anybody try, but we'll see how well it's going to work. Alright, we're getting kind of close there, so pull the nose up. Let me survey my territory here. Okay, so we've got one helipad to the right and one to the left. I think I'm going to choose the higher of the two helipads, so since we passed it, let's rotate around this way. There is method to my madness. I want to approach from an angle where I know that I can see it, and I also want to lose some airspeed here, so that's why I'm rotating around this way. Yes, folks, this is the kind of crazy shenanigans that I do off camera. Alright, where's that oil rig? There it is. Okay, we feel like we're a little bit slow now, so let me drop the collective here. Alright, there's our helipad. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. This is definitely going to be fun. Alright, let me pull us back here. Whoa. Whoa, we don't want VRS. That's bad. Oh, there is an awful lot of smoke here, too. Wow, what is up with that? Oh, watch out for the crane. Don't hit the crane. I love it. Okay, well, I don't know how well this is going to work, folks. I'm surprised you're still watching. You're just wanting to see if I'm going to crash. Alright. We definitely gained a lot of altitude there, so let's see if we can pull it down a bit. Need to rotate around so I can see where I'm going. There it is. Okay. Can I pull it off? Can I pull it off? Oh, I don't know. Woo! Okay. Saved it that time. Alright. Right about here is where I want to be. Kids, don't try this at home. I felt the need to say that. Right about there. Hey, look at that! We did it! We did it! Ha! You thought I wasn't going to make it. You thought I was going to end up as a blaze of glory. Look at that. I'll even open the door. Nice. Nice. Stupid human tricks. Right there, folks. All right. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.